To explain the devotional, I'm going to need to point out two important things. The first being that the children's devotional looks different to the teacher's devotional. In the children's devotional here, we can see that there are two activity pages. There's one over here with a couple words, and there's one over here where we can fill in some of the blanks. The leader's devotional, however, looks like this. We can see where there are a couple words, but on the left, there are teacher instructions. Over here, it shows you exactly what you need to teach, the scriptures you can reference, and how you can explain the heart behind this page. At the bottom, it says what the children must do. This explains how the children can fill in this activity page. If I turn the page, you can see that the second page in the children's devotional is here. And again, the teacher explanation and an explanation of what the children can do. Now that we understand that, we can move into the second part. I'm going to run you through a speed round on what each page represents and how this connects as a greater story. On the first page, you'll need to reference the object lesson in the description below, where we use a rock to show how, with God, we can make an impact. We explain what an impact means, and we use this object lesson to reinforce the idea. On the second page, we explain what Daniel did and what his reactions were, and we relate it to the children. How would they feel if they were in that situation? What would they do? What would God want us to do? And what does loving God look like? On the next page, we see the impact that Daniel made, the way that he impacted the king and the prayer that he prayed. Then we see that King Nebuchadnezzar turned back and did something wrong again. He went against God. But we know that we need to know and obey God, and Daniel does this, and we learn all about it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego get thrown into the fire because they know and obey God, but Jesus rescued them. With the love of God, they impacted the city. On this next page, you will need to refer to the object lesson with the black and the white heart. There's an object lesson and an explanation of how the craft works. You would get all the children to have a Bible, and each of them look up the verse in their own Bible. Bonus points if they have their very own that they can make markings in, or even tabs, so that they can trace the salvation story. Then we have King Darius and how Daniel's life showed who God was because he spent time with God. But because of this, he was thrown in the den with the lions. But Jesus rescued him again. We then use the clipboards to explain that knowing God personally changes your perspective. It's not just knowing of God or about God, but knowing him personally. Again, check the link in our description. We explain everything there for you. And then we learn at the very end that Daniel trusted God, loved God, and made an impact because of it. And we can do the same thing. I hope this all makes sense. Make sure to check the link in our description to see all the explanations for all of the object lessons involved.